Oprah, who is set to sit down with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle on Sunday. We got a third promo that dropped on Wednesday for this 2-hour primetime special. And based on what we've seen so far, it's going to be a doozy.
How do you feel about the palace hearing you speak your truth today?
I don't know how they could expect that after all of this time, we would still just be silent if there is an active role that the firm is playing in perpetuating falsehoods about us. And if that comes with risk of losing things, I mean, there's a lot that's been lost already.
Cassie, when I tell you my jaw dropped, quick reaction from you. What did you think of this latest promo?
Honestly, the first two promos, we didn't hear Megan speak, and
Right.
now this promo just made up for all of them plus more. And this is only like a 30-second promo. It's like, what are we going to get in these 2 hours? She is finally speaking her truth. And this interview, especially that promo in particular, with her making those claims against the firm, it was very reminiscent of the 90s interview with Princess Diana, that bombshell interview where she essentially made claims that the family had this campaign against her. It honestly, it felt
Wow.
just like that. And what's very interesting about that claim in particular that she makes in this promo is that that is a very straightforward, very explosive claim. And you can't really just make those type of allegations, especially against the queen, without backing it up. So I'm very curious to see if she's going to come with the receipts and exact examples come, time for this sit down interview. I can't wait to see the rest of this.
I will be the first to admit that besides the royal weddings that we've had, I've
Mhm.
rarely cared about royal news until now. And if you're like me and was curious, what is the firm? Who is she talking about? You're not alone. The term was reportedly coined by Prince Philip himself to describe the family he married into. It's somewhat of a darker, more cynical term to describe the royals as a whole. So when I said yesterday that, oh, there's no way they're going to come after the family, I stand corrected. This is a broader and more all encompassing word to describe not just the family, but also its business. But still, they're going for it, as you can tell just from this latest clip. And I feel like this is a huge reason Meghan and Harry's interview is said to be causing the Queen to lose some Z's. Yesterday, royal expert Katie Nichol told us that no one comes away from this interview looking good. And she called it a very public airing of the royal family's dirty linen. She also pointed out that the timing of it just couldn't be worse. And here's why.
This interview comes at a very difficult time for the royal family. While Buckingham Palace has denied having anything to do with the Times splash over this email alleging that Meghan bullied two members of staff out, they are much more concerned with the more serious matter, which is the health of the Duke of Edinburgh, who is seriously ill in hospital. And there are calls by some royal commentators and experts who believe that this interview should be rescheduled and aired at a less sensitive time for the royal family. The timing really couldn't be any worse for the royal family.
Obviously, Prince Philip's declining condition is a huge cause for concern. Do you agree with Katie there, Cassie? Like, should they maybe reschedule? Because again, I think it's important to note that they obviously taped this interview with Oprah before
Right.
we learned about Prince Philip, and before they knew about Prince Philip's condition. Should it air at a different time?
Oh, it's such a tricky question to say like yes or no. I
Right.
think that if his condition does get worse and something happens, then maybe they will reschedule. But at the end of the day, there's never going to be a convenient time for the royal family for this interview to air. So
That's so true. And as you can imagine, a source tells ET that things are tense between the Sussexes and the royal family. According to our source, Harry and Meghan have stayed in touch with the Queen and Prince Philip throughout the pandemic so they could see Archie's development. But the source adds that with the palace opening this bullying investigation, it seems unlikely that the relationship between the Sussexes and the royals will improve. The source says that while Harry loves his grandparents, the timing of the Oprah interview has complicated matters. And of course, another huge reason, again, the timing isn't good is Prince Philip's declining health.
Obviously with these claims against Meghan, it's important to note that this interview was scheduled before these allegations came out in this investigation with the Times. And honestly, from an outside perspective, as someone who's followed their love story and followed their, journey, taking a step back away from the royal family, it's very disappointing to see all of this. It really is an all-out war right now, and it's sad because at the end of the day, this is a family, and it's just playing out in the public, and it's sad. Meghan, you could never want or wish this for anybody.
Absolutely not. Oprah with Meghan and Harry, a primetime special, though, is scheduled to air this Sunday, March 7th at 8 p.m. Eastern on CBS.